Hey, hey, what's going on? Wanted to hop in. Been a while since I went live. Uh, been a while since I went live. Wanted to hop back in, give everybody an update where I've been, why I've been ghost. And I've been ghost because I got this deal closed. I can't lie. I didn't have my priorities in order while I was trying to get the deal closed. I fell off on the cold calling, fell off on the follow up, been neglecting it. I know that I've been, making that mistake. I've been sitting here for the past few days just looking at my bank account, waiting for the wire to come in. So, I mean, not really, but pretty much, communicating with the buyer, the tenant, the seller, the title company, my JV partner, just like kind of going back and forth. And I just didn't want to miss an email because if I like let an email go 24 hours or even like 6 hours or even like a couple hours, I knew that it was going to, prolong the closing another day. Specifically because I'm in a virtual market and my virtual market is 2 hours ahead of me. So, if the people at the title company leave the office at 5, they send me an email at 1 p.m. my time, and I take 3 hours to reply, and I don't reply till 4 p.m. They're already out of the office, and they're not going to see it till the next day, and you know what I mean. And it just pushes it out. So I just wanted to be on top of it, which I was, but even then, it still got delayed. But anyways, don't want to, talk about all the negatives because I got paid. First wholesale deal. Feels good. Really, for me, it was proof of concept. It's not life-changing amount of money by any means, $6,000. For some people, it could be, But again, for me, really, the proof of concept is what I was looking for in that first deal. Knew I wasn't really going to hit a home run. I could have, had I not recruited my JV partner, and it could have been a $12,000 deal. But 6,000 is good enough for me. I would have taken $100 just to get that first deal closed. So wanted to pull up a picture, show some proof. I would show you the HUD because I know that's how the real wholesalers, you know, prove their success. Because anybody can just say that they got a wholesale deal and show their bank account or whatever, and the real wholesalers will show their HUDs. I probably could get a picture of the HUD, but I don't have a picture of it on hand. What I do have a picture of is a screenshot of my bank account here. I want to make sure that nothing is in here that's going to allow you to, steal my identity. But here you go. 6 big ones. 6 big ones. It's backwards, but that's $6,001.65. Yes, I had $1.65 in this bank account, which is my business bank account, before that wire came in. Here you go. There's that $1.65. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty broke. This is the sacrifices that I made in order to make this happen. So I'm not gonna sit here and try to say, that's just my business account. It's like it is my business account. I really only keep enough money in there to cover my monthly expenses, but by no means do I have thousands of dollars in my personal bank account. So this is really allowing me to go full time in it. This is going to cover a month's worth of my living expenses, and now what I'm excited for is the second deal that I have in escrow that's pending closing. I've already got it assigned. I've assigned it for an $8,000 assignment fee. So that's going to be my second deal. Buyer already got an opportunity to walk the property. He said everything checked out. Now it's just kind of the same deal. Got to get the tenant out so that he can close on it, and I can get paid. That one is set for closing probably a little over a month from now because the seller wants to give this tenant the full 30 days to vacate. I'm hoping and keeping my fingers crossed. Please do keep your fingers crossed as well. Drop a like to give me some good luck on this one, that the tenant gets out ahead of time before the 30 days so that my buyer can close and I can get paid sooner rather than later. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on, catch everybody up on that deal. Again, this is my first wholesale deal. Appreciate whoever's in here and dropped a like. I can see that when it happens, so I appreciate the good luck. Yeah, that's my first wholesale deal. It feels really good. Again, proof of concept, if anything. Not a huge amount of money, but this is going to allow me to dedicate a lot more time towards this, go full time. And yeah, I just share my experience with the title company. If you haven't watched my other videos leading up to this one, I wasn't talking about, I mean, I have been kind of talking about the title company, but the people just weren't really helpful by any means. She was really short, the escrow officer, the closing agent, really short, kind of rude, to be honest. And I get that I'm inexperienced, and I do my best to communicate that without seeming like I know nothing. Because I know that that's kind of a fine line, right? Of saying like, hey, I have no idea what I'm doing. And hey, like, I know what I'm doing here. I just need my hand held a little bit. But she really didn't help me out at all. It came to a point where she was just being so short with me, where I felt like I was bothering her. And I know that that's what she was wanting me to feel. So I went out of my way and I typed her out an email saying, hey, look, like, I'm really sorry if I'm asking too many questions for you. I really do apologize if I feel like I'm wasting your time, but this is all really new to me, and I would just appreciate if you kind of guided me a little bit more and let me know what exactly that you need. And I would sign off every email like, please let me know if you need anything else from me. And yeah, super short to kind of summarize that. I see all these other successful wholesalers who will close on their deals, and they'll get like a text or an email from their closing agent with like little emojis and, closed and funded, the deal's funded, you got paid, pretty much. I didn't get any of that. She didn't even tell me that the money went through. She didn't even tell me that she wired me the money. I was just checking. I just happened to be checking my bank account. My girlfriend was like, have you checked your account? Because I was out here complaining like, God, it's taking so long. Like, this just should have been closed. Like, to speak to that timeline, the closing date was set for last Thursday. There was a miscommunication with the buyer and his lender. So my buyer called me and was like, can we do it Friday? And I was like, sure, let's do it Friday. Friday rolled around, and his lender, I can see I'm CC'd on the emails. Hey, this is going to have to be a Monday close. I'm like, whatever, Monday's cool. Monday rolls around. We got the traveling notary who, because the seller lives like 4-hour drive north, so we had to schedule a mobile notary public to get out there to notarize the documents. We did that on Monday. I'm thinking, all right, cool. Everybody's going to get paid on Monday. Seller's going to get paid on Monday. That's what I'm telling the seller too. Seller's under the impression that he's getting paid on Monday. And then, Monday evening comes around. I'm not getting any update from the escrow officer. And so I email her, hey, like, any update? And she's like, yeah, we need the original copies. I got a copy of the seller settlement state, the paperwork, but we need the original copy in order to fund the deal. So the mobile notary overnighted the documents. Had I known that, I would, and this is all a learning lesson too, right? Like, again, I don't expect her to like give me every fine detail about what it is that's going to transpire, in the future. But had I known that, I wouldn't have told the seller that he was getting paid on Monday. And I also had the tenant on the hook because the tenant was expecting me to pay her cash for keys, the agreement that we had come to, but I had let her know that I was going to pay her once her father got paid, which is the seller, AKA pretty much when I got paid, because I knew when the seller got paid, I was going to get paid. So I kind of phrased it like that. But yeah, so she's following up. Hey, any word on Monday? Tuesday rolls around. I let the seller know. I call the seller. Hey, like, this is what's happening. We need the original copies. He's like, oh, all right, cool. Thankfully, I had let him know, it's you'll probably get paid the end of today, tomorrow at the latest. The end of the day comes around, nothing. The next morning comes around, Wednesday, again, 6 days after we were supposed to close. And I get the email from the closing agent. Hey, what's your bank information, your address and stuff for the wire? I gave it to her, and again, no reply. That's the last of the email thread. And so hours had gone by. I didn't want to bother her anymore. Like, whatever. I gave her what she needs. If she's going to take all day to wire it to me, so be it. I kind of even thought, and this is something I was talking with my buddies. I was saying, I swear she's doing this out of spite because she is bothered by me, the fact that I'm asking so many questions. And I swear she's like withholding my money until like I speak up about it. Um, so yeah, I never got an email. And my girl was like, "Have you checked your bank account?" I pull up my bank account and it's there, right? And again, that kind of just speaks to in my opinion, that speaks to kind of like the vibes of the whole transaction. Like, you're not even going to tell me that you wired me the money. You're just going to do it and not say anything. Uh, but again, this is all new to me, so I don't know shit, like, and if you're in here and you have experience, let me know. Let me know if that's unreasonable of me to expect her to tell me that she's wired me the money after she did it. Uh, because I don't know. But anyways, uh, what else? I was gonna say something else about that too. Um, uh, God, I had something else about the delay that was happening, but whatever. Um, that one's said and done. Everything's accounted for. I kind of parted ways with the tenant, let her know that I appreciated her through all of it. I wish her and her son the best of luck, moving forward, because she had moved on to bigger, better things. Pretty much starting a new life for herself, which is cool. She was depressed. She lost her husband 6 months back. She was living in a messy, man. I wish I could pull some pictures up for you guys. It's incredible. I don't know how neither one of them. They may. I was gonna say I don't know how either one of them don't have serious health issues, but they may. To be honest, there's mold in the ceiling. Apparently the place smelled like piss. Uh, Trash everywhere. No sheets on the mattress. No bed frame. It's just the mattress on the floor. Clothes and trash everywhere. I mean, it was bad. So now she's up in a motel, transitioning into a trailer that her friend is letting her live in for free, I would imagine, because she doesn't have any money. But yeah, so she was grateful, and she needed to get out of there. She was caught in this slump. So she was grateful that I was able to kind of kick her in the butt, and like get the wheels turning. Like, hey, you need to move on with your life. I didn't say it like that, but it's pretty much the message, and she knew it. So she's on to bigger and better things. Oh, the seller got paid, but he got paid like $6,000 less than what he was expecting. And this was kind of, gosh, this my heart dropped. Let me tell you. So the title company, the escrow officer, sends me the settlement statement, the HUD, the seller's settlement statement for approval. She wanted me to check off on it, like, hey, does this look good before I send it to the seller? And that's when I see the proceeds that are going to him after close. And the whole time we've been talking, him getting paid $10,000 because he was under the impression that he owed $48,000 on the mortgage, outstanding mortgage balance, and the offer that I made was $58,000. But I didn't think about it until I saw this and realized, wait, not only did when we made the initial agreement on the phone, he was looking at a statement that was a month old. So I think about 3 months, and he wasn't making payments as we were in escrow while we were pending closing. Nobody was making payments. So about 3 months had passed since that last notice that he had. So and it looks like probably about $2,000 per month was his mortgage payments, because an additional $6,000 got added on to the balance. So as opposed to him owing 48, he owed about 54, and our agreement was for 58. So when all was said and done, he walked away with like 3,800 or something like that. So he calls me when the notary public's out there, and he goes, "Hey, Mr. Derek." He's a cool guy, super nice. But hey, just wanted to be sure I'm here with the notary public. And this is how he talks too, but I'll kill the voice. He goes, I'm here with the notary public. I'm looking at this. I was under the impression that we were going to get paid 10,000. And the best that I could say was, yeah, I'm so sorry about that. I had just seen that about an hour ago as well. I kind of imagined you were going to give me a call, but what's going on is I was also under the impression that you were going to get 10,000 because I was under the impression that you only owed 48 on the mortgage. And so if you look, and he was looking at it, so I was kind of pointing out, if you look at line item 322, you actually owe 54,000. So you owe about $6,000 more, which is why you're going to get about $6,000 less to walk away with. And he was like, "Oh, yeah, okay, that's probably my mistake." Um, it was kind of both of our mistakes. I should have known. That should have been on my mind. Like, okay, he's getting foreclosed on. He's clearly not making payments. It's going to take us about 60 days to close. Those payments aren't going to be made. So it should have been something that I factored into my offer, my explanation, everything, the whole transaction. That it was on me. He kind of took the blame, but I diverted it right back to me. He's like, no, that's my fault. I should have definitely had that in consideration. But this is where my heart drops. He goes, "Oh, okay, yeah, I see that, honey." His honey is right there with him. His wife, Martha, is her name. Honey, you still want to sell? And oh my gosh, like no fucking way. The mobile notary's out there. His daughter is already fully packed and moved. She got a storage unit and put all of her shit in the storage unit. Already paid for, however long at the motel. Handed over the keys already to the buyer. And he goes, "Honey, you still want to sell?" And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And she goes, yeah, we got to sell. I was like, oh, thank God. And he's okay, we'll still sell. Okay, great. So let me know if you have any other questions. And I'm hang up, a huge sigh of relief. Like, I didn't even think that was an option, that they weren't going to be interested until that very moment when he asked his wife. Um, but I quickly realized, like, wait, no, yeah, they, oh, what's up, Stu? Uh, I just hadn't realized, man. Like I said, up until that very second where he asked his wife, it didn't even cross my mind. Even when I saw it on the statement like an hour before that, I was like, oh damn, he's gonna get less money. That's all I was thinking. But then after I got off the phone, I was like, yeah, no way, they weren't gonna sell, because they're getting foreclosed on. They're behind 4 months, 3 4 months in payments. What would they do if they didn't sell? And again, the daughter's already out. Nobody's making payments on the place, so it wasn't even an option for them. Not to say that I like strong armed them into it, because again, it was just the way that I worded it. So it's something kind of creative that I do when I make my offers. I'll let them know, we're making a cash offer, but the only thing, some of the things that we won't cover is any outstanding mortgage balances, any past due taxes, any liens on the property, any judgments, etc. So, and then I kind of transition into, does any of that apply to you? And they'll say, oh, well, we owe about 48,000 on the mortgage. So then I'll use that as my my leverage to make my offer. So in this case, I said, okay, so you owe 48. So anything, above and beyond that is what you would get paid. So, did you and your wife have a number in mind that you'd like to walk away with? And that's like kind of a creative way. I forget where I learned that. I think it was Steve Trang, but it's a creative way to pretty much have them give you a price without them giving you a sales price for their home. So as opposed to them saying, yeah, I want to sell my house for this amount, which is quite difficult to get people to say because nobody wants to give the first number. So as opposed to that, they're saying, I want to walk away with this much money in my pocket. And people are much more open to saying that kind of thing as opposed to throwing out a sales price for their home. And it didn't even really work out as easily as I'm making it out to be, because in that moment he was like, I don't really know. Let me check. I want to see how much my property was assessed for, the tax assessed value. And as he said that, I'm looking at the information, the public information, and I see that his the tax assessed value was like 97. And I was like, oh, we really don't use that. We don't really consider that. We tend to see that the tax assessed value is inflated because the city and county tends to inflate it in order to pull more property tax out of you, which is true. Um, and he's like, oh yeah, I was just going to use that as a starting point for my negotiations. So right then I was like, he was looking through the paperwork trying to find his tax assessed value. So I knew at that point I had to throw out an offer, because I needed to be, 40,000 plus below that. And if he was going to start with there, I highly doubted that he was going to come down as much as I needed him to. So that's when I threw out, what if I was able to offer you 58 and you and your wife could walk away with 10? And again, I say all this because in that moment, that was my thought process. And the idea of him walking away with less than 10 didn't cross my mind. The idea of mortgage payments continuing to toll and add up over the next 60, 90 days until the deal actually got funded and closed didn't cross my mind. But it's a great learning lesson because what I should have done was positioned it as, you know, I really, maybe I could have asked him, like, do you have the intention on making payment? It's going to take maybe 30 to 60 days to close this, especially because we're giving your daughter time to move out. Do you have any intention on continuing to make these payments, or are they just going to continue stacking up as we're waiting for it to close? And if he says, oh no, I don't plan on making any payments, it's like, okay, well, I really need to be around 58. If you made the payments up until the property closed, you would walk away with 10,000. But if not, how much are your monthly mortgage payments, and start to have that conversation. Um, you know, and I really did get it at a good price. Just to reiterate the numbers, I locked it up at 58, thinking that he was going to get 10. He only ended up getting like 4. And I assigned it for 70. So it was $12,000 spread. Split that in half with my JV partner. I could have easily done it by myself, not to knock my JV partner, but I really did everything. He didn't. Typically in this situation, especially in a virtual market, you're JVing with somebody so that they can handle the disposition of everything, the back end of the sale, whereas I'm handling the acquisition, I'm getting the contract. Typically when you JV with somebody, they handle the disposition. So, okay, here, I got the contract. You have all these buyers. And over the past few months of me communicating with him and trying to work a deal out with him, he, claimed to have all these hedge fund buyers. And I think he does, but maybe it just didn't work. The numbers didn't work for this deal for those buyers, but he just continued, he went on and on about all these buyers that he had. And then it came down to it. And kind of a teaching moment as well is in that type of situation, it has to be all or nothing. You can't, I mean, the JV partner shouldn't agree to a JV agreement if it's not all or nothing, meaning that I have to be okay with me being the one that finds the buyer and still paying him half, which is exactly what happened. The buyer who ended up closing on it was my buyer. He didn't really do jack shit except his cousin went out to take pictures, and he went out to walk the property with the buyer, and he negotiated the 70,000. Honestly, I'm whatever. I'm gonna knock him because it was a really poor experience with this guy. I think he did a poor job of negotiating. I think we could have easily assigned it for more than 70,000. I think that this buyer is going to make a killing on this deal. He's getting it for 70. After like closing costs and stuff, maybe 75 is what purchase price ended up being for him. He'll put probably 50,000 into it, putting him at like 125 all in when everything's said and done. And he's going to be able to sell this for like 170. Considering closing costs, he'll probably walk away with like 155, leaving what is that, like a $30,000 spread. So I mean, that's pretty typical. It's like on the higher end of what buyers are looking for right now. Some buyers, based off what I'm hearing and learning, is that some buyers in this market, since the supply is so low, they're fine with walking away with 15 to 20,000. So he's going to make 30 easily, I think, if it's even going to take 50,000. It's such a small place. It's a really bad condition, but it's just the square footage is so small that it's, that has to be considered as well. It'd be one thing if this place was like a 2,500 plus square foot place that needed all the same work that this place needs. But this place, I think, was like 1,200 square feet. The bones were still good. It was going to have to get gutted to the studs and completely remodeled, but still, I don't think it was even going to take 60,000 to redo. And especially because it sounds like he's working multiple projects at the same time. It sounds like he has a handful of projects that he's working on right now. But anyways, again, not to knock him, but he really didn't do anything. And he just made an easy 6,000 for showing up one day and negotiating a bad price to assign it. And then he still kind of had the nerve to come back and ask me to renegotiate my purchase price with the seller. And I'm glad I didn't, because we were talking about me going back and renegotiating it down to 50,000 from 58, but turns out the guy ended up owing about 54,000. So that wouldn't have even worked. 58,000 was the perfect price for him. I think if it was any lower than that, he probably would have more seriously considered not selling at that moment when he called me. If it was like, hey, I'm only getting $1,000 here, you know, well, I don't even think I'm going to sell it anymore if that's the case. I think that would probably be more real. The likelihood of that happening would have been much higher had I renegotiated the price down from 58. But again, 58 was the perfect price. Everything worked out, but that's that, man. I got that one. I can erase that one off the board here. I got 2 agreements here. One of them being the one that I just closed. Go ahead and get that one off the board. Now I got 1 agreement in escrow. Like I said, lock that one up. The numbers on that one, lock that one up for 75 and assigned it for 83. So well done, fam. Congrats. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Like I said, this one, if anything, is just proof of concept for me. First sell is the hardest, no doubt, man. Everything at this point is just a learning lesson. Like everything that I'm talking about, I'm going to be able to do it much smoother. Even in this case, on this next one, where I'm expecting 8,000, I already have it at open escrow on it with the title company, and they started their preliminary title search, and it shows that the seller on this one was divorced at one point, which is what I've gathered fairly common as well. Just like more paperwork that needs to be considered. So he needs to get a certified copy of his divorce decree that was issued by the family court judge, that pretty much says and gives him permission to sell this property. I'd imagine, I've never seen a divorce decree, but I'd imagine, I kind of did a little bit of research and imagine that it's going to say, kind of outline like the division of property, and not just the real estate property, like the property, but like the belongings, right? So like this person gets the house, this person gets the car, this person gets this bank account, whatever the case may be. I'd imagine that's what it's going to say. So I'm hoping that there's no hiccups on that. And that the divorce decree clearly states that he, is entitled to sell the property and has and retained 100% ownership in it. But I called him. The guy's kind of difficult to deal with. He's just very short, very quick. He sounds like he's a laborer, always at work, always working hard too. It's not like he can just like take my phone call and step away for a quick minute. It's like sounds like he's in like the mill or something, like always something crazy going on in the background. So he's like, yeah, no problem. Divorce, yeah, I got the paperwork. Sounds like English isn't his first language either. He speaks it very well, but some of the things that I say, like I have to reword some of my vocab. Like I will refer to his tenant as the tenant, and he'll say, "What? Like your tenant, the one that's paying you rent?" He's like, "Oh, the renter." So I've since been referring to his tenant as his renter, or he says the rental guy. He calls him the rental. Oh, the rental guy. So it's like stuff like that, and it's kind of hard to communicate what I need from him. Although I stressed that it was going to be a very, easy, simple transaction, which it is compared to an on-market transaction, a conventional, typical on-market transaction where you're going through a realtor. It's much simpler, but this guy's under the impression where he doesn't have to do anything, which isn't the case. He still needs to fill out some paperwork, and he needs to get me some things in order to actually transfer title. So I'm just hoping that he'll do that. I sent him that stuff 2 days ago, the paperwork that he needs, and reminded him that I need a certified copy of the divorce decree. So I'm hoping that he gets that to me before the end of the week. If not, I'm going to give him a call on Saturday, hoping that he's not at work so that I can actually like take a minute to speak with him. But he wants to give his tenant a full 30 days to vacate, which is cool. I already ran that by my buyer when I found that out. My buyer's on board to kind of push closing as long as it can be delivered vacant, and all of his belongings are removed as well, which he says shouldn't be an issue. I would love to try to expedite that and get in there and offer him some cash for keys like I did on this one. Like, hey, I know that your landlord gave you 30 days. I'm one of the partners here that's going to actually be buying the property. Is there anything that we can work out where we kick you some money and help you out with the financial burden of moving all of your stuff. Maybe hire some movers for you, like I did on the last one. You know, connect you with a realtor to help you find that new place a lot quicker than you'd be able to do yourself. If there's any way that you can get out before that 30 days, we'd be more than willing to, you know, kick you some money. And the reason that is, who says it? I mean, Brent Daniels says it, but his mentor, I think, Todd Toback, says time kills all deals. And I'm finding that, and that's in any part of the process. So, you get a lead on a cold call. You tell them that, or they ask, or you agree on a price. This has happened a lot. And this is common based on what I've learned as well, is you give them an offer and they ghost you. You never hear from them again because they were either, one, not serious in the first place and you just wasted your time, or two, they got cold feet once they realized, like, oh, this is real. Like, I've had people ghost me where we've agreed on price. Like, I had one guy, we agreed to 225,000, and he was like, yeah, as long as you can do this, this, and this, I'm on board. And I was like, yeah, I can do this, this. It was almost like he gave me a laundry list of things that he felt was impossible for me to deliver on. But I, checked every box for him. I was like, yeah, I can do this, 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 this. And he's like, okay, but you got to do this, this, and this too. And I was like, yep, I can do all that. Some of the stuff was like, he was saying he didn't want me to broker the deal, pretty much what I am doing. But there's a way around that. The way around that would be to use transactional funding. So in a straight assignment, like this last deal that I did, I got it under contract for 58, assigned it for 70. So no money out of pocket on my end. The end buyer funded the whole thing. The end buyer used his money to pay that 58 to the seller and pay me and my partner the $12,000 assignment fee. But that reflects on the settlement statement. So he was saying, I don't want you to do that, pretty much. So the way around that is to use transactional funding. There are people, the transactional funding, they've built a business model around this problem specifically. And what transactional funding is somebody's willing to cough up that 58,000 for 2 hours, right? Because that's all it's going to take. Well, in this case, it took a few days, but typically when the seller and the buyer are just going into the title company and signing it, everybody's going to get paid same day. So you really only need that money for like an hour, right? Because they'll be able to get paid back, if that makes sense, because the buyer is going to fund the whole thing. So if I'm coming with 58,000 of transactional funding, they'll say, yeah, we'll give you $58,000 for an hour and then pay us 59,000. So it will eat into the assignment fee a little bit, but you'll have the money in order to quote unquote double close, as opposed to just do a straight assignment. That could be like a little too complex, but essentially that's what happened. And that's what I'm finding as well. But yeah, man, excited about this one. Excited about the future. Excited about the second deal here. I haven't decided if I'm going to like really document that second one, like I did this first one. But I'll kind of hop in every once in a while, like in my other videos, and just like mention it. If you watch this and you're interested, feel free to ask about it in my other videos or what have you. But appreciate everybody who's followed me along the journey. Everybody who's giving me support. Is a big deal for me. And this is like the start of something really big for me. I really do feel that. So I have high hopes, and getting ready to kind of reinvest the money that I got into, skip tracing was one, so I can start calling a lot more people. And two, I'm going to invest into an accountability group, where it's kind of, just a group of like-minded people who are all doing the same thing, so that when I do have like a question, a specific question, I can turn to a group where I know these people are active wholesalers. They're not just people who are online talking about it, because this accountability group is paid. So everybody in this group is paying to be in the group, which to me means that they're committed to this and they know what they're talking about to some degree. At least I feel more comfortable taking advice from these people compared to just random people on Facebook or the internet or YouTube or whatever. So that's kind of the main thing. And it's pretty cheap. So that's like the two main things that I'm going to reinvest in, and just the fact that I have this $8,000 like pending in escrow as well gives me a little bit more comfort knowing that I don't have to like go crazy in reinvesting into my business right now. I just need to do what I did on the first one, um, you know, 10x, call 10 times as many people, follow up with 10 times as many people, make 10 times as many offers, you know, that type of stuff, get 10 times as many leads, and hopefully be able to lock up a few contracts here. My immediate goal moving forward is to always have one what am I trying to say? Always have two pretty much in escrow. That's my immediate goal, so that when one closes, I have one on the back burner waiting to close, and then when that one reaches closing, I have another one coming in, um, and that will, I think, pretty much allow me, if they're all looking like 30 to 45-day closes, that will pretty much equate to me closing one deal a month for the foreseeable future. And I want that to be the case moving through the end of the year. So my, again, short-term goal for the end of the year is to close this next one in September, and then close October, November, December. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? September, October, November, December. Yeah. So four months to the end of the year. And my goal is to close another 4 deals. And then hoping that by the time 2022 rolls around in January, I have 3 in escrow, which will allow me to close, 2 a month, starting in the beginning of the year, and then just scale up. And at that point, if that is the case, I'll revisit maybe in like March, like after Q1 of 2022, and only then start to consider bringing somebody on, hiring some, probably like 2 cold callers, and then maybe even a transactional coordinator. Because again, in this case, I was spending a lot of time just staring at my email and my bank account. Whereas if I had somebody else handling transactional coordination, like handling the back end of things, coordinating with the title company, coordinating with the cash for keys transaction with the tenant, even just coordinating with the tenant at all, just being the point of contact after I lock the contract up, get it assigned, and put it in escrow with a title company, just have somebody else handle everything after that, so that I can go back to square one and start generating more leads. That's really what I want to do sooner rather than later. So again, appreciate everybody. If you stuck around and watched this whole thing, I love you, honestly. You're a true fan, and really looking forward to making more content. I know I've slacked for a little bit, but I'm probably going to hop on in a second here and do some more cold calling, just get back in the groove of things, maybe hit some follow-ups. Yeah, if you liked it, drop a like, let me know. If you have any questions, I can do my best to answer them. Again, by no means am I a pro, but simply tracking my progress, holding myself accountable by documenting it all here. If you are experienced or feel like you have some words of wisdom for me, please feel free to drop a comment as well with suggestions, recommendations. Hey, Derek, you should do this. Hey, Derek, you shouldn't be doing this. Hey, Derek, good job. Yeah, and I'm going to go live, like I said, other videos here, at least probably once a day, if not like up to 3 or 4. I'm going to be, I have a few playlists that are going right now where, I'm going to hop on live cold calling, live follow-ups, what else, documenting like my deals as they're happening. Like I said, I'll probably do that again for the second deal that I have here. And then the 4th one is just like my systems and processes. And for that one, I'm actually going to like pre-record the video, so I won't actually be going live. But if you're interested in any of that type of content, please do feel free to subscribe. If you're not interested, by all means, don't subscribe. I'm not going to try to con you into doing it. But if you do, I appreciate it. Till the next one, guys. Peace.